The biggest mistake I made in my business was not hiring a professional to help me with my money. Not just my taxes, but the actual plan I had for my business. I was completely lost on how to handle taxes, what to do with profit, and how to maintain my income. I had to find a better way. That's when I found Core Financial. Core Financial is a team of tax professionals that actually care about building real relationships with their clients. They run my books, keep me up to date with my finances, and make sure I'm taking full advantage of all of my tax benefits. Are you struggling with your finances? Look no further. Core Financial is a brand that is nationwide that can help you with your business. Both Nick and I are huge fans of Core, and they can help you too. Check out howtofilmweddings.com/core to schedule a consultation today. Core Financial. Real relationships, no surprises. It seems like there are new cameras and equipment coming out all the time. It gets incredibly confusing and the FOMO is real. Nick and I have been preaching for years that the best way to try out new gear is to rent before you buy. And there is only one place we recommend when it comes to renting, and that is our friends over at Lens Rentals. Lens Rentals is the premier source for renting not only camera equipment, but lenses, drones, projectors, and more. Have a big project coming up and you need to really wow your couple? Wanting to test out the newest camera before you drop thousands on it? You need Lens Rentals. My favorite thing is that if I love something I rent, I can keep it. They apply a portion of the rental fee to the purchase price, and with a few simple clicks, that gear is mine. Check out the latest promo codes and promotions at howtofilmweddings.com/lensrentals. Lens Rentals, the only place we recommend renting. Hello and welcome to How to Film Weddings. It's a new week. My name is John Bunn. I'm joined by my best good buddy, Mr. Nick Miller. It's a new week, like I said. We're excited about this episode. But first, Nick, what an incredible week we just had. How are you? What's new? Say hello to the dozens and dozens of listeners.
Hello, everyone. I am doing well. I'm exhausted. I know John's exhausted. We had Calibrate workshop this week, which went really, really well. We had our 14 speakers over 2 days. Later today, as this drops, we're actually doing another session with Larev Films for that. So Calibrate is kind of still going on a little bit, but it was a really amazing experience. We only had a little technical difficulties, and whenever you're doing something over the internet like that, and you're trusting the internet and other people's internet, anyway, it went really, really well. I'm very, very proud of what we put together, and it was great to just sit down here in this spot for like 24 hours over a 48-hour period.
Yeah, that was intense, but it's interesting because it's not one of those events for us where it's just like, oh, good, now Nick and I are going to retire or something, like where we just made so much that it's more like it became more of a passion project than anything, because we just knew that over the last year and a half, it's kind of been a dumpster fire. The crap hit the fan. So many people have been going through things, and we keep getting messages from people inspirational messages from people saying you don't know what How to Film Weddings has meant to me during this time, or my business, was able to survive because of that. And we just wanted to put a shot in the arm of a lot of you, kind of get you motivated and calibrated, ready to go for what might be the craziest wedding season ever coming up next. I know there's a lot, or next year, I know there's a lot of things going on in the world right now, different variants of COVID happening, different things like that. And so we did that event because we really wanted to put a lot of people in front of you to help you. I know so many of you are motivated. If you couldn't make it this time, we're most likely going to be doing that again, so stay tuned for that. But Nick, we are wanting to really help people today, talking about presenting themselves at weddings. We see it a lot. I've seen some behind the scenes videos or people posting, photos of themselves at weddings. And I'm just like, what were you wearing, or why were you acting that way? Or, and so we just wanted to have a conversation just on presenting yourself at weddings. Anything you want to add before we get into it? Yeah.
No, I 100% agree with that. we want to talk about presenting yourself at a wedding. And one thing that I want to talk about, and this just kind of came to me as you were saying this, so I'm going a little off book here. But
Yeah,
we live in a world where everyone is connected through social media. Okay, everyone is connected, and I'm not gonna sit here and say that you don't need to be yourself. Okay, we one of the things that so many of the speakers talked about at Calibrate was putting yourself out there and being intentional with who you are and stuff. So I'm not trying to tell you to hide. Okay, but what I am going to tell you is you need to know that even on your personal Instagram account, your personal Facebook account, your personal social media accounts, people will find them from your business account. Okay, especially if you are a business that maybe you have multiple teams or whatever, and so you, like they can't see your face on like their profile picture on their Instagram account or something like that. They want to go see who they are working with. So as we're kind of talking about presenting yourself at a wedding, it starts way before that. And if they go and they see, super inappropriate pictures, whatever your definition of inappropriate pictures is, I'm not going to define that, but I'm saying if you have a bunch of that stuff on your personal account or your like that can be very off-putting to potential clients because they can see who you are as a person and they might want to work with you. Now, again, there is that line of attract and repel, like maybe that's a part of your brand. And if you've thought that through, that's okay. But I think a lot of people haven't thought that part through and they are just, oh, it's my personal thing. I can do whatever I want. I would challenge you to think through that process and maybe you'll come to the same conclusion, but think about that stuff and think about the stuff that you are posting on your personal social accounts so that it affects your business. That's what I'm trying to say. Long-winded answer to say your personal stuff affects your business stuff.
Agreed 1,000,000%. And I would have to start this episode really by asking, like, why does this even matter? Like, a lot of people, I think, especially us wedding filmmakers tuning in, a lot of us like to be behind the camera and like to be, there's a type, if you will, that it's more like I'm just kind of over here. Some of us are awkward, some of us are quirky, which is great and fine and beautiful. There's nothing wrong with that. But like if you're not aware of how you're coming across, if you're not thinking that through and you're just kind of letting that happen. I remember when I first got started doing weddings, I didn't even think about like, am I in the way of the mother of the bride seeing the bride walk down the aisle? I was just getting my shot. I'm the camera guy. I don't know, like I'm got clunky equipment everywhere. I never paid attention to like presenting myself at a wedding. And there's so many things we're already thinking about, but I would argue that more so important than shooting and editing a clean wedding film and making beautiful art, if you're not able to present yourself well throughout the entire process, you're going to end up going out of business. You can have the best art out there, but if you're a total jerkbag or if you don't have any clue that you're just being really rude to people, you're not going to continue to book and you're not going to continue to book higher paying clients.
Yes, 100%. I will agree with that. And so that's why, we kind of start there with what you are on social media. And this, we live in a day and age of Zoom. Okay. And so you're talking Zoom. Okay. Whatever your profile picture is, make sure that it is on brand with your brand, even if it's like a personal Zoom account. Okay, make sure that it's on brand with your business and stuff so that whenever people show up and they see that profile picture, it's not something ridiculous or whatever, because that's going to be many people's first impression of your face is right in that meeting. So those are some things that I think I definitely know people that been in business a while. They kind of know and understand that. But if you're, in your first couple years, maybe this is something that you haven't really thought about at all. So we want you to think about that. And when it comes to presenting yourself at a wedding, there's two areas that we really want to kind of chat about from before the wedding, and that's going to be your client communication, that relationship with your clients, and also that vendor communication. Okay, there are some people out there that are just really, really bad at email and text. And by bad, it's they don't respond timely. They don't respond quickly. Okay. And I know I have been in that situation where a bride emails me and her wedding isn't for 8 months. And I'm like, okay, like if I don't get back to her for a couple weeks, it's not that big of a deal. Now, if she emails me on Monday and her wedding's on Friday, okay, maybe I respond faster. But if you wait 2 weeks to send an email back, that is setting up an expectation in your client's mind of how you are and how you operate and what you work like. Okay. And so people know and understand you're running a business, you're busy. I think most people do anyways, but the longer you take, the worse you look in their mind. And we want our clients to fall in love with us and love us, before we even show them, a frame of their footage. And this is starting that process. Okay. Presenting yourself professionally from the beginning all the way through the wedding. And so when it comes to client communication, email them, respond to them on time. If they text you, text them back, or, and you can set boundaries with that. You're like, okay, I'm only going to do this from 9 to 5. That's okay. I'm only going to do this, I'm not going to do it on weekend, however you want to be about that. But responding to emails and stuff, I can't tell you how many times in at least like local videography, like wedding groups, where people like, yeah, I reached out to so-and-so and I never heard back. Or my vendor quit on me or whatever. And I'm like, what are these people? So when it comes to client communication, respond timely to your clients' questions, whatever. John?
Yeah, and even but it does start before the wedding with your client communication. And I remember 2013, 2014, I really wanted to make a shift in my business, and I wanted to go for a more higher end clientele. I liked shooting at some of the local ballrooms and country clubs. I liked the paydays from that. And I needed to learn how to communicate to my ideal audience. And I don't think a lot of us think through that. Your ideal audience, your ideal client doesn't have to be the same as mine. But even we were talking with Jay and Mac at Calibrate Workshop, their ideal client is a lot more spunky. Is that the word? I think so. Yeah, that's the word. They're just a lot more they want to curse on screen, and they're drinking and partying, and it's a ton of fun, and it's that's great. But you need to know how to communicate on your website. You need to know how to communicate in your emails. They need to all be, they flow together in the way that you brand, the way that you put yourself out there, the way you communicate beforehand needs to all match up with who you're going for. And I remember I had to start asking questions of what is it that this clientele really wants to hear from me? They want to hear that they're getting a unique, one-of-a-kind piece of art. They want to know that it's exclusive. There's autonomy that they want. So I started thinking through, how can I communicate with words before, during, and after to just always be reiterating to these couples. That's a big deal that they hired John Bunn for John Bunn Films. That's a big deal. So why, how, so I'm thinking through all of that. And it's you say, John, I'm a wedding filmmaker. There's so many, I just want to get my color temperature right. I want to get, and yes, that stuff is so very important. But when I started really paying attention to client communication, how I did it, not even when, Nick is saying, but yes, how Nick is saying, but really how I come across in my communication, that's when I started to really see the shift in my business and people starting to take me more seriously. And then on the other side of things, I started communicating to vendors differently. Same thing how Nick is saying, you don't want to be the vendor that never responds to emails, or when you do, it's just the letter K, or you really have to think about your entire brand when you're communicating to vendors.
One thing that my wife gets on to me all the time for specifically vendor communication, but it's a planner will send, the day of timeline or whatever. And she's like, here's the timeline. Excited to work with you guys this weekend. And Jen always gets on to me. She's like, Nick, did you respond and just say thank you? Like, Nick, did you just let them know you got it? And I was really bad about that for a really long time. I was like, there wasn't like a question. There wasn't like an anything. It was like, here you go. You have it. Like, why do I need to respond to that? Like, that was genuinely my thought process. And she was like, no, you need to just respond and say, hey, I got this. Thank you for doing this. Excited to work with you. Okay. Her thing is, unless it's like really like a closed end comment, like respond to everyone, just say, thank you, I received this, something like that. And now if they say thank you for saying thank you, then you don't need to respond to that. But that sort of process, if anyone sends you anything, specifically vendors, specifically planners that you are working with that have a lot of stuff juggling on, photographers, if they're sending you a timeline, so just let them know you got it, so that and that you appreciate the work that they have done. That goes a long way.
And on the other side of that too, when you're thinking about client communication, vendor communication before the wedding, I'm putting myself in the bride's shoes, the bride's mom's shoes, the planner's shoes. Like, I'm not trying to be overbearing and annoying and like communicating all the time or anything like that, but I am thinking through, like, if the wedding planner sends me a timeline, I'm going to look through it, respond, say, in a way that fits the words and the branding of who I'm aiming at. I'm not going to just be like, thanks, dude, or something like that. It's like, I'm really thinking through how I'm communicating, because I want, when people think of the brand John Bunn Films, to have like this elegant, high-end experience with me. So my words are carefully thought through in how I'm doing that. But even on top of that, it's, if the planner emails me, I'm looking through it, I'm adding my 2 cents and saying, oh, I think we should do this. I'm communicating, I'm part of this team. I want to be, a lot of us as vendors just book a bride, book a groom, book a couple, and then it's like, we'll see you, we'll see you, I'll email you the week of your wedding. And communicating with the vendors, especially for me, I love to really communicate with the planner, the venue, and the photographer on the vendor side of things. If there's a band or anything like that, I'm not usually communicating with any of them until we get really close to the wedding day. But presenting yourself before the wedding as the true professional and elevating the experience of the entire wedding is my goal. I want the couple to feel really taken care of, and I want the mother of the bride to feel really taken care of, and the father of the bride or the groom, like, I'm just really staying in good communication via text, via email, whatever it is, just staying in front of them, sending them messages. I'm really excited to be working on your wedding. I can't wait. Like, just beforehand is such a big deal, instead of just this random, like, yeah, we booked, and then 6 months later, I'm going to send you your final bill, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really good. We have a lot more to talk about when it comes to how you present yourself at a wedding, how you kind of present yourself as a business, and we will get to that right after this break.
Hi, it's Michael from Wedditer. We want to thank everyone for the incredible support we've received since sponsoring How to Film Weddings. Yes, we've had some growing pains, but we've had far more wins. And we're doing something that's never been done. We're a remote team of over 50 editors in 10 countries. I often joke that we're as much a logistics company as we are a creative company. Right now, demand is off the charts. And we don't just say yes to everyone and scramble to figure it out. That's why we're asking you to help us help more of you. In short, we're looking for more talented Wedditors. Part-time or full-time, work from where you want, when you want, as long as you hit deadlines and deliver quality. It's a chance to get paid while growing as an editor. Our project managers work with you, explaining why something feels right or doesn't, because there's always a reason. If you're interested, we'd love to hear from you. Go to wedditer.com/editor and fill out our form.
All right, we are back from break, and we're going to go ahead and jump into our Wedditer question of the day. Wedditer, more than freelance, more than outsourcing. John, on a wedding day, you get up, you car packed, you're driving to the venue, you're really excited, but how are you presenting yourself actually on the wedding day? Like, what are you thinking about? How are you, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, and I think this is kind of the meat of the episode. We really want to make sure people are tuning in. So if you've tuned out, refocus, tune back in, because this is some good stuff, and I think a lot of us need to really hear it. Presenting yourself at the wedding day is much more than just showing up and shooting. I really had to revamp every bit of what I did when I wanted to reach the clientele that I wanted to reach. And it sounds superficial, it's whatever, but the way that you dress at the wedding is really imperative. Like, if you're in my shoes, I can't show up to a wedding without really nice clothes on, because I want to do, and I'm at really nice ballroom type weddings most of the time. I'm not going to obviously be wearing a suit if I'm doing an elopement in the mountains, but also you can step that up and really be thinking about the way that you present yourself. If you have a big massive headset on with a microphone like Britney Spears used to do in the day, or you're wearing shorts and a t-shirt or flip-flops, that might be your brand, and that's fine because there's really no rules. But you, like, comfort over it is not, like, comfort isn't the number one choice for, it shouldn't be the number one choice for the way you present yourself physically at a wedding day. Yes, I wear comfortable clothes and things like that, but it would be way more comfortable for me to show up in sweats and a nice cut-off t-shirt, something like that. But the way you present yourself at a wedding is you really want to dress for the job that you want. That's my answer. I would present myself by dressing for the job that I want. How do you guys do that, Nick?
Yes. Like right over the past few years, we've kind of been in this. I think this is something we're going to have to start drastically changing here pretty soon in the weddings that we're taking on and what we're wearing to the weddings. I've kind of been able to wear, nice slacks and a short sleeve button up shirt and nice shoes. But I think that I might have to here pretty soon, with the clientele that we're starting to get, shift into more of that, at least wearing a tie to every single wedding, just to show that we are more professional. We should be here. When we're getting into these weddings where couples are spending mid six figures on their wedding day, I mean, you need to start dressing like you fit in, even if personally you're like, this is way too, this isn't me, but as a business, as your brand, if those are the clients you want to reach, that is really, really important. So you really need to think about dressing for the job you want. And if you're sitting there and you're like, man, I'm doing these $1,500 weddings where, there is no planner, everyone's, drunk by 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And, there's they're not the types of weddings that I want to. So why should I dress nicer? Why should I look nicer? And I think that you need to put in your mind of what's the trajectory of your business? Where do you want to go? Where do you want to head? And if you want to start getting more expensive weddings, you want to have clients pay more, then you need to start maybe processing that and thinking about that. And it kind of starts, it's kind of a mental thing. Like, does it really matter what we wear? I mean, if in the scheme, no, it really doesn't matter what we wear from what I'm filming standpoint. But if you show up and you're like, I'm in a suit and I look really nice and I'm like, I'm going to go get this. Like, now you have an air about you and people are like, ooh, this team is fancy. They have it together. And then it's like a mental thing of like, yeah, I deserve to get these higher end brides and couples. I deserve to do this stuff. And so it's just kind of a mental shift, mental kind of thing, as much as it is a presentation thing. Yep. Another thing that I when I first started was really, really bad at was just going up and saying hi to the people that I'm working with. Okay. Like I would get there and I would get my camera together and I would start filming. And my wife would be like, did you say hi to the bride? I'm like, no. Like, what? No, she told me to be, I'm supposed to be here at 1 o'clock. It's 1 o'clock. I'm working. Like, why? And she's like, oh, Nick, so that's one thing I've learned. Go say hi to the bride. Go say hi to the groom. Another problem that I have run into, especially when I started and with the photographer, if I had never talked to them before, never worked with them before, I would just kind of go and then halfway through the day, we'd be like, oh, are you the photographer? As I see them taking pictures. Yeah. Are you the video? As they see me doing video, So introduce yourself to all of the people that you are going to be working with really closely through the day. So that's the couple, that's going to be the photographer, and the planner if there is one. Those are the people that you're really going to be working with closely during the day. So make sure you go up and talk to them. John, how do you kind of handle talking to people that you're going to be working with on the day?
Yeah, and if I can rewind just a half second, I had one more point about...
yeah, that was a rewind sign. That was terrible. That was terrible.
Wow. What's in that coffee cup you're drinking there?
Coffee?
Yeah, sure.
So it's 9:37 a.m.
You're right. It's early. So on the point where Nick was talking about like what you're dressing, like how you're wearing, like what you're wearing, I think my main point to take away from that is just be intentional with what you're wearing, and does that match the experience and the brand that you want to put out there. If you're happy with the clients that you have and you're like, dress for the brand, like the way you dress and present yourself should match your branding. It shouldn't be like, you shouldn't be wearing things that if someone accidentally takes a photo and puts it online of you, you're like super embarrassed. And so I just wanted to make sure, we're not telling you got to go spend a ton of money on clothes or something, but I invested about $600 or $700 in some nicer things to wear at weddings. Nothing crazy. But it did do that, Nick. It gave me like an air of confidence, and I can't tell you how many bridesmaids were like, wow, you look great today. Like you're like, I've never seen a video crew look so nice, or they look at you like, well, who is that? And we've booked weddings because of the way we presented ourselves at weddings. And that's the same thing with like just how the confidence that you have at a wedding day. Instead of being like, hey guys, I'm sorry, I'm the video guy, I'm awkward. I'm the video girl, I'm awkward. It's just walking into the room, owning it. You're dressed how you feel comfortable and presentable. And you're walking up and, I'm welcoming or introducing myself. When I come into the bride, as she's getting hair and makeup done or whatever, I'll walk in, I'll give her a hug. I don't have a camera in my hand. I'm like, how's it going? Communicating with her. Hey everybody, I'm John. I'm the filmmaker. I'm the videographer. If I'm pointing my camera at you, it's on purpose. Let's have a ton of fun today. But I am exuding confidence. And I'm not doing that so people think I'm a big deal. But being there and setting that tone early, it really matters in how you're presenting yourself at the wedding day. You don't want the end of the wedding day to get there and people be like, I didn't even know that the video guy, like there was a video person, or like that video person was annoying, or so like just coming in confidently, looking how you want, feeling how you want. And same thing goes with the photographer, with the planner. It's like confidently coming in instead of like showing up, like sweaty and you're in a hurry. It's like, okay, where's the bride or what? Like there's so many things that go into how you present yourself on the wedding day that really, really matter. And there's so many more people. And I'm just thinking, like, I'm filtering everything I'm doing once I get to a wedding through the brand of John Bunn Films. High end, high quality. I don't care if like there's a drunk uncle in jeans over in the corner at 2:00 p.m. I am the brand, and you are your brand. And so like if you're thinking through that in the way that you're communicating with everyone and being helpful for everyone and doing all these things, that is going to set you up for, who knows, like a lot of my weddings there'll be a bridesmaid that, like one of my weddings I did one of the bridesmaids was in a family of multimillionaires and saw me and how I interacted, and then the next week contacted and said, I wasn't going to do video for wedding, but after working with you, oh my goodness, that was so much fun. You were so professional. I realized I have to book you. Are you available? And I'll book $8,000 or $10,000 bookings because of the way we presented ourselves at a wedding.
Yeah, that's really good stuff. You never know who is watching you, and the likelihood of a bride who is getting married having friends that are very similar in life with fiancés getting engaged, like the likelihood is high. Okay. Next summer, I am getting ready to film I think it's 5th in a friend chain, like that I can take all of them back to like this one that we did like 4 years ago. And so, and it's all about how you present yourself, the work you do, like all of it matters. Another thing that I want to really stress is communicating with the photographer when you show up. Typically, my Jen and I's thing is we go and we introduce ourselves to the bride typically because they're there first getting ready. We talk to them, and then we go and we find the photographer and we talk to them kind of about how we like to work, how we like to operate. Jen does this a lot during the detail kind of time, before a bride gets into her dress, but just kind of talking, especially if you haven't worked with them, kind of how we like to work and how we like to operate and what we're looking for and what we like and what they, how do you like to do couple time? How do you like to do this? What are you doing during the ceremony? Just all of this communication. And then, we let them know that we're on team, bride and groom. We want to get the best for them. And so we want to work really, really well with you. I know we hear horror stories all the time, of this photographer was awful to work with, or I'm sure in photo forums, like, oh, this video person was horrendous, all of that kind of, I know it happens, but in our personal experience over the 250 plus weddings we've shot, I can only think of 3 off the top of my head, which were like, this is horrible. And part of the reason with that is that communication, that talking, that sharing. And so one thing that I have started doing for my weddings is when I get the timeline, I get out Instagram and I just, because it's easy and on my phone, and I just copy down and I write down the schedule for the day and I save it and make a lock screen for my phone and I text it to the photographer. And a wedding that we did earlier this year, she was almost offended that I did that. It was kind of funny. She said, why'd you do, I have my timeline. Why did you send that to me or whatever? And then later when we were talking, she's like, oh, you were just, I like you. You were being nice. You were just trying to help me out. Having it on my phone. So I wouldn't have to pull out these, because every 20 minutes she was pulling out all this paper and stuff. So anyway, we were just being nice, and that's the thing that we have started doing, sending it to the photo people and saying, hey, here's a timeline just for you to have on your phone. Use it if you want to use it. Don't, whatever. That's been really helpful, just as a little tip.
Yeah, and on the heels of that, there's just so many times that you, as a wedding filmmaker, you'll have your head down, you're not paying attention to the room, you're not reading the room, you're not being empathetic, you're not thinking through things. And part of presenting yourself on the wedding day is we want you to get that awesome eye candy shot, but we also want you to remember that this is a real wedding day for a real couple, and this isn't just for your Instagram reel. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. See that, what I did there? Real, but real. Okay. Anyway, dad jokes. Yep. There you go. Good. Okay.
EEEA.
Yeah. Real. Okay. But the thing that once you start paying attention to those things, oh, the bride's about to start crying, grab a tissue, hand it to her, or oh, they need a bottle of water, or doing things to help the planner, getting there a little bit early and saying, hey, I'm here a few minutes early. Is there anything I can do? I just want to connect early. I don't know. There's just things you can do to go above and beyond. But if your filter is just, I need to get my shots, it's all about me, I don't care what I look like, I don't care what I come across, I don't care, you're not going to be booking higher quality weddings. The more I talk to luxury wedding planners or people that are doing higher end things or charging the most for their genre, whether that be outdoor adventurous or elopements or destinations, or the more that I talk to people like that, they say it's more about relationships than it is about the actual footage. Yes, you can book a lot of weddings just by having awesome wedding films, which is part of what we should be making. But the people that will refer you again and again and again are the ones that really enjoy working with you and that you take really good care of. And if you're not presenting yourself well to them on the wedding day, you're not going to really be able to have a sustainable business long term. Little things recently, I was heading to a wedding, I was stopping at a smoothie shop. I knew the photographer who was going to be there. I'm just hey, can I pick you up a smoothie? I'm on the way. And they were like, yes, thank you so much. Or having extra protein bars or bottles of water for people. It's little things like that start to really add up of wow, this person is a team player. And like Nick said, you're going to get a few jerks every now and then. But if you come into a room or if you come into the conversation before the wedding, like we talked about at the first of the podcast, as an authority for the day and a big part of the team, and you're not going to just sit on the sidelines. And then on the day of the wedding, you're introducing yourself confidently. You're doing all these things with the planner. Like, you're looked at as one of the main people on the wedding day. And so the planner now is checking in with you. Hey, are you guys ready to do this? How's this going? How's, like, the photographer is like, hey, do you want any extra stuff here? And that sets this precedent for us to have more control and more creative input on a wedding day, which makes our films way better, makes the couples way happier, and gets you way better weddings.
Yes. Good stuff, my friend. So we have a few more things that we're going to talk about. We're going to head to a quick break, and then we're going to come back and wrap up this episode with some good stuff about what you should be thinking about presenting yourself on a wedding day, but after the wedding day. So let's go to break.
Finding the perfect song for your wedding film can be so frustrating. We spend countless hours searching for the perfect song. When it comes to licensing music, Nick and I both love MusicBed. Not only do they have the best music, but their website makes it so easy to find the perfect song and to find it fast. We have both been using the MusicBed's wedding subscription for years and cannot recommend it enough. Not only are they adding new music from incredible musicians like Chapters, The Light, The Heat, and Tony Anderson all the time, they've made it incredibly easy to search their library for mood, genre, instrumentation, and even key. So what are you waiting for? Head on over to howtofilmweddings.com/musicbed and use promo code HTFW for a free month of a MusicBed wedding subscription. howtofilmweddings.com/musicbed. All right, we are back from break. We're going to be wrapping this episode up soon, but we've talked so far, Nick, about how to present yourself before the wedding, during the wedding, and we could go on for a long time about both of those, but I want to get to chatting with you about what you do after the wedding. How do you present yourself after the wedding? How can we do this as wedding filmmakers to really leave an impact, to get more bookings? What do you got?
Okay, the biggest thing, and this is something that John and I talk about all the time when we do mentor sessions. We see that in our Facebook group, howtofilmweddings.com/community, if you want to be a part of that, howtofilmweddings.com/community. It's our Facebook group, where people were like, hey, in my contract, it says 4 months before you get your film. And I'm getting emails and people barking at me like, where's my film? And I'm like, it's in the contract. Okay. I am also seeing this a lot because our friend Ashley B, I think she told us that this week starts as 5 months of 30 weddings for her because of all these COVID cancellations and stuff. So like, we know that there are people out there right now that are crazy busy. I mean, ridiculous busy, because most people are like cramming 2 years of weddings into like 6 months. Okay. So here's the thing I want to tell you. How to present yourself after the wedding is keep up that client communication. Okay. I saw a photographer go on a rant about how this bride was like yelling at her, where are my photos? Where are my photos? And she's like, okay, I'm cramming 2 years of work into this last 8 months, and sorry if I want to go have some time for myself. And my thought was, how are you talking to her after the wedding to let her know what's going on? Okay. You can write your clients and say, hey, because of COVID, I have all of these weddings. I have all of this stuff. I am working as fast as I can. Our normal turnaround time is this, but it's probably going to take me this. So if you say our normal turnaround time is 3 months, but it's probably going to take me 6, your client is not going to like that. However, you communicated with them and let them know a time frame. So then that is their expectation. So then they can know and understand what is going on. The problem whenever people reach out to you, where's my video? Where's this? Where's this? It's because you are not communicating with them what is going on in your process and where it is. So the number one thing that we do the week after the wedding, hey, we sent them an email. Hey, it was so great to work with you. We are so excited, for you guys and all that stuff. Here is our turnaround time, and here is what you have signed up to get. So they know in an email after the wedding, because they booked me 8 months ago, a year ago, they might not remember those things that I talked about in the meeting. I guarantee you they don't remember. So telling them, here is our turnaround time, and here is what you will be receiving when everything is delivered. That will save you so much time with you back and forth with those emails of where's my stuff, where's this. And if you are really backed up and you tell them it's going to be 4 months, and at 3.5 months, if you know that it's not, if you're not, you need to let them know, hey guys, I'm sorry, it's going to take me a little bit longer. And then you figure out as a business, do you need to offer them something else? Do you need to do that? How are you going to make that right? Whatever you want to do. But I'm saying communication with your client specifically is going to go a long, long way for your business, so that it's all about the presentation and showing them that you know what you're doing and you're a for real business owner.
Yeah, the brand that I'm building continues the day after the wedding. The second the wedding is over, it's not just like, okay, good, I'll get to you now in 3 months when I'm done. It is making them even more excited about their wedding film. Nick has said it a lot. I've said it a lot on the podcast, but like so many times at the end of a wedding, the couple is already in love with their wedding film just because of how I treated them on the day. But like afterwards, what are you doing to get them even more excited, to make them realize how good of a choice they made with you? I'm sending screen grabs, I'm sending text messages, I'm just reaching out throughout the process. Like, yes, I'm communicating, here's what's in your package, and here is, what the time frame is looking like. But, I'm commenting on Instagram posts. Yesterday, a wedding I did in June, which I'm just about done with, the planner posted a photo, and I was like, I'm so excited, the video's almost done. And the bride was like, we can't wait. And it's just like, I'm creating this hype and this excitement around their film being done. They paid for a one-of-a-kind experience with me. So I'm thinking, what ways can I make this seem one-of-a-kind? What can I do for them? Can I put together a 5 to 10 second just quick loop of them at sunset, or a teaser video that they didn't ask for, or like where you are in your brand will determine how much more of that kind of stuff you want. But I know that I've been like exporting out little TikTok clips or little Instagram Reels Instagram Reels to them. And so I am able to send little clips to them. That was the word, clips, that I was looking for. I'll text it to the bride. I'll text it to the groom. I'll just send them a quick note saying, like, I'm going through your footage. It's awesome. But just staying in communication with them creates this experience. And what I've realized is, if I've communicated to them, hey, your wedding was awesome, I'm expecting to have this ready in 8 weeks. Here's what your package, has in it. It's got, an 8-minute film. It doesn't have the ceremony. It doesn't have raw footage. That's when I can start dropping these hints of like, hey, your speeches were really good. There's no way I'm going to be able to fit all of them into this edit. We can either lengthen your film, we can get you a speeches edit. Like, there's a lot we can do, but just be thinking about it. Here's the prices. And so it's helping them enjoy the experience even more. But that's how I'm presenting myself after the wedding, is like, that's when my work really begins. And that's like, they have this, like, oh, it's over. They have this, oh, what am I going to do now? Like, I've been planning this wedding. This was so great. And the same thing with the actual vendors. Like, I'm in touch with the planner. I'm in touch with the photographer. I have email templates ready to go. So whenever I do finish the wedding, I can send every one of them. Like, I put together a list of everyone from the wedding with their URLs to their websites, with their mention names from Instagram. Like, I make it so easy, and I'm serving the vendors, and I'll say, if you want this full video for your Instagram, if you want this, like, let me know. I'll be making little clips of the florist. I'll be making little clips of I'm just doing what I can to elevate the experience of everyone. So by the time that they get done, they're like, wow, working with John Bunn is amazing. Yes, he charges more, but you get way more when you work with him. The next time I have an elevated experience type wedding coming up, I'm gonna reach out to John first, or I'm going to refer him first. And same thing with the bride. The more that you do this stuff, the more that it just snowballs on top of itself.
Yeah. Another thing that I want to mention and I want to talk about is making sure that you are tagging all of the vendors in social media posts. How many times have you, as the videographer, been seeing the day after the wedding, you see a post from the planner, from the florist, from the photographer, from someone that was involved in the wedding, and they tag everyone but you because you're the video guy. And of course the video people aren't going to get tagged. Okay. How does that make you feel? Okay. You're like, oh, I was there. And then, you're like, oh, I really want to reach out and comment and say, hey, why wasn't I tagged? Whatever. Don't do that. So you be mindful of social media posts and tagging all of the people that are involved with the wedding. One of the best ways to do that is in your client questionnaire. Ask for the list of vendors, for their emails, for their websites, and their Instagram handles. Okay, and then have the client put all of that in there because they know who they're working with. Okay, that is one of the things that we do. So, and then anytime you post anything from that wedding, make a note in your phone and just copy and paste all of the vendors. Even if you're just showing off the florals, copy and paste all of the vendors so people know this is who worked at this wedding. That is a great, great thing for you to do. And again, it shows you that you not only care about your couple, you also care about the people that you're working with, and they are going to want to maybe work with you more if you continue to build this great relationship with them that way. So what do you have to add?
As we are wrapping up this, I would like for you to look at your business, and if you're one of those people that like to just go the extra mile, I would recommend getting out a notepad or opening a note on your phone and writing out the words that describe the experience you want your couples and the vendors to describe your work. So for me, I want them to feel loved. I want them to feel taken care of. I want them to feel like that there was somebody on their team that, so I have these words, and that helps me work my way back all the way to the words that are on my website and how I market and how I brand myself and how I filter everything through this experience. So write those things down, really think through the entire experience, and that will help you on how you want to present yourself, on what you're going to wear or how you're going to look on the day or the words you're going to say or how you're going to communicate before, during, and after the wedding. This is so important. Mm-hmm. This is so very important to your business. It's so very important to just overall how you shoot. It affects everything about how you're doing everything on the wedding day. So this is not something you want to sleep on. This is something that you want to take and pay really good attention to as you're getting things wrapped up for the rest of this year and working into next year.
Yeah. One thing, I don't know. I don't think I have anything to add. I think this has all been a really good conversation, to have, just talking about presenting yourself. And it's more than just, I think the longer that you're in business, you realize that your video is an important part of the puzzle, but it's not the only part of the puzzle. And I think for so long, people think, oh, as long as my work is great, that's the only thing that matters. And it's so much more than that. And we want you to just take some time to think about how you present yourself and how you are on a wedding day, and before and after really, really matters. As we're closing up, I want to tell you to head over to howtofilmweddings.com/store. And there we have our email templates. Okay. 40 email templates that you can customize and make your own and send out. And some of this that we're talking about, this process of communicating with your clients, communicating with your vendors, even after that, we have templates in our email template that can help you with your communication as you're reaching out to your clients, as you're talking to your clients, as you're talking to your vendors. So that is our email template bundle over at howtofilmweddings.com/store. John, I'm ready for this week to be done. It has been exhausting for me. As I talk about the Calibrate week, but I know we're starting a new week here on the podcast. I don't know where I'm going with this. It has been great to sit here on a computer and look at you for the last 2 days as we're recording this. And 3 now. Anyway, I don't know. I'm tired. I'm doing a bad job landing this plane.
Let me land it. I'd like to land it.
Okay, you landed.
First
I'll
of
just
all,
sit here like
can
this.
you guys, if you're out there in the internet or wherever you're watching, can you give Nick a digital round of applause? He's been working his tail off. Like, if you're in YouTube, post in the comments, that sort of a thing. But guys, thank you so much for this community. We know we've been sending lots of emails. We know we've been really pushing for this workshop. We appreciate you, taking the time, investing into you with this podcast. If you've made it this far in the podcast, you are the warriors. You're the people that we know are here, that are in it to win it with their business. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. It's going to be a great week. Go lean into what makes you different. Have an awesome week, and we will see you soon. Are you looking for a better way to deliver your wedding films to your couples? Look no further. Our friends over at WedFlow provide the most flexible video delivery solution on the market. WedFlow is pay per project with no large upfront cost or commitment, and you can cancel anytime. Not only that, WedFlow offers a premium viewing experience for your couples, accessible on mobile, tablet, desktop, as well as their very own suite of TV apps. Each project comes with 10 years hosting and an experience for your clients that will blow them away. Stop delivering your films the old-fashioned way and give your couples something to rave about. Head on over to howtofilmweddings.com/WedFlow to check out WedFlow today.